Teleprompters aren't just for high production companies anymore. They're not just for the newsroom or for TV. There are so many choices available to us as content creators today to find a teleprompter that fits your need and, from my perspective, more importantly, fits your budget. I don't know how many of you have ever used one before, but they come in so handy for making YouTube videos, for doing any kind of teaching video, any kind of video where you're trying to stay on point, where you're trying to stay concise, and when you maybe got a time constraint and you want to make sure that you get everything in that you intend to. Now, for right now, for example, I'm not using a teleprompter. I'm just speaking, I guess we'll say by improv or extemporaneously. And that's great. Some videos you need to be that way. You don't need to have a canned script, or you don't need to have everything written out. But there are those moments when you're trying to do maybe a technical review. Maybe you're trying to teach something. Maybe you're doing a Bible study if you're involved in the church or in ministry. Now, I looked around several places, found several options on Amazon, and I'll put a link down below to some other options that are out there, and they're all right around the same price range. But what I want us to talk about today is this particular one here is called the T2 Teleprompter from a company called Desview. I'll say this up front, I paid for this myself. I didn't get this, it wasn't given to me. This is not a sponsored video. This is just me looking for a teleprompter and trying one out. Now, real briefly, why did I pick this one over maybe a Parrot teleprompter or some other brand? Well, I picked this one for a couple of reasons. Number one was because it did come with a Bluetooth remote, and that was something I was really looking for. I sometimes, even when I have a script and even when I'm using some kind of prompt, sometimes I go off script. I'll think of something and I want to add it in. Well, if your teleprompter is scrolling and you don't have a way to stop it or control it, then that's really going to cause a problem. Now, I know that there's some apps out there that will use your voice and follow along on a smartphone, and those work okay. I'll, again, have some links down below of some apps for you as well. Those work okay, but I have noticed on occasion where they will pause. They'll have a hiccup, they'll have some glitch in them, and I'll have to stop the video and restart my voice-activated teleprompter. So I was really wanting one that had a Bluetooth remote that I could use with my smartphone. Now, another thing for me that was really important in looking for a teleprompter was how it would work with a wide-angle lens. Right now, I'm filming this with my 16mm Sigma lens on my Canon M50. On several of the other teleprompters, if you notice on these teleprompters, no matter what size you get, they're all going to have a hood of some kind. And that's, of course, to block out some of the light so you can see the reflection on the mirror. Several of those teleprompters, I think the sides were too large, were too big. They would cause a vignette on your when you're shooting your video. In other words, if you're using a wide-angle lens, you would see the edges of the teleprompter box in your video. Because of the shape of the teleprompter box, because of the diagonal size on this particular box, it allowed me to use my 16mm lens, and I did try it out with my 16mm, and I had no edge showing up, so that was a plus for me. Now, I want to just go over real quick a few things that are in this box that you get when you buy this teleprompter. It cost me about $120 on Amazon. One of the things that you're going to get with this is you're going to get a variety of lens rings. I believe the numbers go from 49mm to about 72, 77mm, if my memory serves me right. What you need these for is to attach your camera, if you're using a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, to attach it to the back of the teleprompter. So, for example, I've got a 16mm lens on my camera now. If I wanted to attach it to this teleprompter, then I would need to use a 67mm ring adapter, and that comes with the teleprompter. It comes in the box. Another thing that is also included here is actually a pretty nice cleaning kit. You'll notice on the front here, when you look at this of course is your glass, the most important part of the teleprompter, and it will get dust on it, it'll get fingerprints on it. This is very sturdy plastic, and even though it does come with a cover that you can place over this when you're not using it, at some point you're going to get a fingerprint on it. So it's nice that it comes with a cleaning kit. So you can take care of your glass, of your mirror, keep it clean. And also, as I mentioned before, is the remote. The remote comes with the teleprompter. Now, if you get a Parrot teleprompter, for example, it will work with the remote as well. But unless you get that in a bundle, you're going to be paying about $25, maybe $30 extra to add a remote control to that teleprompter kit. I'll be honest with you, this remote feels pretty cheap. It's very lightweight, even after I put two AAA batteries in it, which aren't included in the box. You can hear it rattle when you shake it. And it's just not real heavy. It's not a high-value teleprompter or a high-value Bluetooth remote. But here's what I'll tell you I like about this remote compared to all other kind of prompter remotes I've used, whether it was for PowerPoint or for anything else. When you click the buttons on this remote, did you hear that? I didn't hear anything. These buttons are silent. And to me, and probably to you too, that is so important. How annoying would it be if on your video, every few seconds or every line, a few lines that you read off, you heard a click as you went down in your remote. So for whatever good or bad about this remote, it is quiet and it's silent when you're using it. So I give that a plus. All right, so we've changed the view for just a few minutes. So I want to look over the tabletop here and see some of the things that we have. Of course, these are our rings that attach to the lens. And I want to show you how to do that real quick. Of course, we've taken the cover off the front of the teleprompter. I've already put on here through two screws that screw in the back here. I've already attached the smartphone tablet platform in the front. I've got it set up right now for a smartphone for my iPhone, and that simply moves in and out like this so you can place your phone inside. On the back here you have a cover, a cap. All you need to do is just pull this down. That slides off. That's a 49mm ring that's on there, for example. I've got here a 67mm that I was using for my 16mm wide-angle lens, and that worked fine too. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this without the camera, I'm just going to use a lens. Here is the kit lens that came with my Canon M50, and it fits a 49mm lens ring. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take that and we're simply going to screw it onto the end of the lens, and then we're going to take our teleprompter and we're going to take the lens and we're going to slide it back up into this slot, and that's how it attaches to the teleprompter. Now, just like you'll see on this picture right here, the camera obviously is going to be attached to the lens here, and that camera is then going to be attached to the tripod. The teleprompter pretty much is just suspended out in front of your DSLR or your mirrorless camera. Now, this is a lot easier when you're just dealing with the lens and you don't have the camera body as well. So if there's one negative I have about this setup is it can be a little wieldy to try to get this to slide on. My best tip on that is to go ahead and have your lens and your camera attached to your tripod, set up and locked in place. Put on your ring, the adapter that you need. Take the teleprompter over to the camera as it's on the tripod and slide the teleprompter down, holding onto the body of your camera and your lens till it snaps on. So if I've got to say that there's one maybe I don't want to call it a fault, but something that's just odd about this setup, I think that would be it. It would simply be the way that you attach the lens and the camera to the teleprompter itself. Now I'm putting the cap back on here just to keep out some of the dust from inside of the teleprompter. So once you have this attached to your camera, once you've got it on the tripod, then that's a lot easier to do than trying to do it by hand, but I'll try to do it here without a tripod. You take your phone and you simply put it inside here, and you pull out the adapter or the little arm till it fits snug, and there's your phone attached to your teleprompter. This teleprompter does come with an app, and if you search for it on the App Store, it's called Desview, and it's okay. There's nothing super exciting about it. It is a pretty basic app to use for teleprompting. You are able to mirror it, but there's a lot of options for you out there. Like I said, this is a very basic teleprompter. So there you go. That's the Desview T2 Teleprompter. It's going to run you about $120 if you look for it on Amazon. And again, you can find the link to that in the description below. If you got any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them. I'm not an expert. I'm not paid by Desview to promote this teleprompter or anything else. It was simply something I was looking for. I needed a solution for the small space that I have at home. Now granted, here at church I'm in a little bit of a larger room, and I could use a larger teleprompter if I wanted to, but I wanted something that was going to be a little more universal, something a little more portable. This one fit the bill for me. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you got any questions, like I said, leave them down in the comments below. You guys have an awesome and a great day. Goodbye.